Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jodo Cast, your home for Star Wars gaming. I'm Joe, and we've got Leo here.
Hey.
And Kurt.
Hey.
And yep, that's all. Thanks everybody.
Good episode. Another one in the can.
Before we get started, a big shout out to our supporters on Patreon. It means the world to us that you guys like what we do and support us there. So if you like what we do and want to support us, go check out patreon.com/thejodocast. You can find us on Patreon, something like that. We're going to be talking about Unlimited, but before we get to that, so besides Unlimited, Leah, what you been playing?
Horizon Forbidden West.
Kurt, besides Unlimited, what you been playing?
I got to play some Star Wars Outer Rim recently. I got to play some Star Wars Rivals recently. Were those the only two? I guess we did those and we did Unlimited. So Joe was in town for the recent planetary qualifier in Fargo. So we got to play some other games. Other than that, I don't think I've done any Star Wars games.
So I did play Rivals and Outer Rim with Kurt. First time I played Rivals since it came out a couple years ago, and you know what? It's still pretty neat, I think.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
fun.
It's not
kind of lightweight.
Bad. I think it's not as bad as you'd expect.
If anyone's wondering, I was out of town that weekend. It's not that Joe and Kurt didn't like me and just didn't invite me to play.
There were people in the stream chat being like, "Where's Leo?"
Yeah, people were rooting for you. They're like, "How's Leo doing? Is he winning?" And we were like, "Well."
Yeah, the stream was fun, and besides those other games, I also played Star Wars Villainous, also for the first time since it came out, and that game is also pretty neat. But we're not here to talk about those games. We kind of are, though. That's what we do. So we are going to, real quickly, Leo's favorite part of the show, continue our trivia game. However, during the live stream, there's a new rule I'm adding to our trivia game. You can give the right answer, or you can give the funny answer. Either will be accepted. What beings are said to rip people's arms out of their sockets when they lose at games?
It's kind of too obvious, but...
The French.
What's the name of Babu Frick's species? That would be good.
And Zellans. It takes like 5 of them to get one.
That's how into it they are.
What Jedi in the Geonosian arena uses the Force to incapacitate the battle droid with C-3PO's head? Was that not C-3PO himself?
He gets Force pushed by Kit Fisto, I think.
Yeah, it was Kit Fisto.
It's hard implying that the head did not constitute C-3PO's person, but the body does. The answer is Kit Fisto, but there's some metaphysics going on here. Who professes love for Qui-Gon Jinn just seconds after meeting him? Shmi Skywalker.
Professes love?
Well, I mean, the actual answer is Jar Jar Binks, but...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I may have said the word love. I don't know if that counts as, like, professing. That's like...
He professed his love. He got down on one knee. He held up, like, a clamshell or whatever Gungans uses engagement things. He gave him the little, like, the tongue, the fruit roll up, in and out. Who's described as most displeased with the lack of progress on the second Death Star?
I mean, Vader gives the line, but he's saying that it's the Emperor that's displeased. Is there a funny one?
I think it would be IG-88.
Yeah, he's like, where's the rest of my big old round body? What part of a buzz droid does Obi-Wan tell R2 to hit in order to disable it? The testicles.
Buzz droid?
Oh, this might be tough for Kurt since
Not
he's a weirdo and hasn't watched these movies a million times.
who does Anakin tell?
Who does Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan.
What part of a buzz droid does Obi-Wan tell R2-D2 to hit in order to disable
I
it?
think it's the
So it's
eyes.
when they're over Coruscant.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But yeah,
Let's see how right you
answer
are,
is
Lou,
funny.
because he goes, hit the buzz droid's center eye, as if like this is a revelation and they haven't fought a million buzz droids by now. The answer is it's center eye, so
Okay.
eye, not specific enough.
I was close enough. I mean,
Closer than Kurt.
How many eyes do they have? I was
I think they have like 3 in a
one.
stack. There's like 2 little ones and a big one.
I need to look at pictures of buzz droids, I guess.
What I always never figured out is how that many buzz droids fit inside that missile. What does C-3PO say his programming won't allow him to impersonate?
Impersonate?
This is a good one for wrong answers only. Yeah, what does C-3PO say his programming will not allow him to impersonate?
Police officer.
Sitting president.
It's a god.
Deity.
Or deity.
Oh,
Close enough.
Sure. Da.
All right. Have you figured out buzz droid anatomy yet, Kurt?
Yeah, I guess I never looked at how many LEDs they had on the front of their face that counts as an eye.
Isn't it 3?
Yeah, it is 3, but I for sure would not have visualized it. Yep.
Cool. All right, everybody. Star Wars Unlimited Set 5 Legends of the Force came out less than a week ago.
Technically, it's gonna release in a few days, but the pre-release started.
It's calling it a pre-release at this point is just like part of the culture. Am I wrong to say that? Because everything is available for sale. It's not like
no. I mean,
ooh?
It's only available for sale at like local game stores. You can't, like, online retailers can't sell it.
Okay.
Well, lucky me,
Until
I bought
release.
it from a local game store that mailed it to me.
Yeah,
So
they can do that, but like a fully online store can't sell until release day. The stuff that's going to be in the big box stores, that's not going to come out until release day, or it's not supposed to.
Okay. Well, that happened, and so we all got some cards. We all hit up some pre-releases. We all have things to think about and talk about. So let's start with the pre-release events. I went to 1, and you guys went to like 8.
There were a lot of local ones. I only ended up going to 2, but I think there were 5 over the weekend. But then there's been 1 or 2 more.
No, there was 6.
There were 6 over the weekend.
Yep, there was 6. There's 1 more now tomorrow that I'm going to. So there's going to be 7 pre-release events in Fargo altogether.
As far as I know, there were only 3 in Sioux Falls. I went to one of them. Bethany and I went, and she ended up running Talzin Red. Yeah, Talzin Red, and I did Darth Maul Green. And so I guess I'll talk a little bit about my deck, but then also it's more interesting to me just kind of the event itself. I like the store, but the event was run very strangely. My deck, I was going to go with Morgan Elspeth, and then I realized I misread her card, and when it said keyword, I was thinking trait. I'm like, oh, all those people in my decks are creatures and force users. That'll be easy. And I'm like, wait, no.
That's not how it works.
But the powerhouses of my deck were the Sun, Quinlan, the Jedi Temple Guardians being able to ambush, and the 8th brother also being able to ambush. But The,
my deck,
the
like by the time I got to the sun, like once I dropped him, it was basically game over. But so I like never really got to do much with him other than play him and then hear my opponent go.
yeah, he once I got the sun out, it was 1 or 2 turns until.
Or no, sorry, yeah, yes, the sun. Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah,
of the right
and
guy.
because he's basically always hitting for 10. Because as soon as he swings, you get the force, and then he gets his +2. Um, the the 2 best things I did that I think were notable was I had a Minoc, and I'm like, oh, it's a 2/3 with overwhelm. What's the point of overwhelm on such a small little guy? But I had put 2 Inquisitor's lightsabers on him, and then my opponent played like a Purrgil, and I had some damage on it, and so I ended up overwhelming through the Purrgil with my lightsaber wielding Minoc to win a match, which was pretty fun. And then Quinlan, I used the Consumed by Darkness to give him 2 XP and 2 damage, and then played Maz to let him attack with +2, so he dumped 10 damage onto a base, which was also pretty sweet. I ended up getting second place in the tournament. I lost to another Maul deck, a Maul blue, and Maul with Ogdo Bogdo on his team is really tough. Every 2 of my opponents had Ogdo Bogdo, and I basically had to just forget anything else I was doing and crash into that until it was dead.
That's interesting because I feel like before now, people were always like, Ogdo Bogdo sucks.
Well,
He's
I
good with
mean,
Han and good with Maul.
yeah, it depends on the deck, on the leader you're playing. I mean, with some, if you don't get one of those, yeah, he does kind of suck. Yeah, I ran a Maul blue for my deck. I had the Sun in mine, and I also had Anakin, who was really good. Um,
So I'm curious how your events are structured, because so this is how this event was, which back in Tucson I was used to the pre-releases typically being like 3 to 5 rounds of Swiss best of 1.
yeah,
This event was 3 rounds of Swiss best out of 3, which is like, okay, it's kind of fun to get best out of 3 because then you can see what your deck can actually do. I don't mind that. I think for pre-release, best of 1s are fine. So it was best out of 3 for 3 rounds of Swiss. Then it was a cut to a top 8, and the top 8 was best of 1s, and it was also seeded where the number 1 and the number 2 played against each other, and so on.
best of 1 in the top cut. That's
And
if
Were there
nothing else, I've usually seen it where it's the opposite way, where you do like best of 1 in the Swiss and then go up to like best of 3 in top cut.
yeah, so that's everyone was like, okay, but whatever, it's pre-release, we'll just roll with it. And so I ended up getting second, and the thing that was weird about it is, so one of the local players, apparently this he must have been like the number 1 seed and then lost to the number 2 seed in the top cut. Um, this seems to have just made him, like, afterwards he was talking about how he felt it should have been and all this stuff, and he's like, and by the way, I'm like getting out of Unlimited, I'm selling all my stuff, so if anybody needs like a full set or any showcases, I can give you his information. But it was like, okay, like, I'm on his side with his complaints about how the event was run, but I don't think it was a reason to like I think he might have just been looking for a reason to get
Yeah.
out of the game.
Did,
um
did you go to any of the J-Dubs events, Kurt?
no?
Okay.
I went to
I
2
but I
Paradox ones.
Yeah, but I think they were run the same as the Paradox ones, where we just did like
Thought so.
4 rounds of Swiss. It was best of 3. I would have preferred best of 1 just so they were a little bit shorter events, especially those ones in the middle of the day. But whatever, best of 3 is fine.
the,
And then it was
yeah,
just, you got a pack. Everyone got a pack, as a prize, no matter what. And then you got one more pack for each round you won.
Yeah,
That's it.
that seems great, because the other issue with this was, so everybody got a pack for participating, which was great. Everyone also got a Legends of the Force and a Twilight of the Republic OP pack, because they must be sitting on a lot of Twilight ones they're still getting rid of. Which is fine with me, because I missed out. I don't get many OP packs these days. And that's cool. But then the prize structure was only, I think, only the top 4, maybe top 8 got some stuff, but for sure top 4 got some stuff. The top number 1 got 3 Carbonite boosters.
That's
Number 2,
honestly
me,
big prize
for a pre-release. So, and the store was saying, well, hey, like, you didn't pay extra for this. This all came at a loss for the store, which is, cool that they're willing to, like, do that for the community. But also, I don't think that's the right way to structure your prizes for what's supposed to be a, hey, everyone, let's just kind of have fun kind of event. Second place got 1 Carbonite booster. So, like, even if you're going to throw out Carbonite boosters, like, maybe do 1 each for top 4 instead of, like, 3 for first and 1 for second. But anyway, it was all kind of weird.
A best of 1 type thing.
Yeah.
I assume the extra prizes is why they wanted to do the top cut, but still, it's kind of strange.
Yeah.
I like that they're willing to, like, give out prizes, but it seemed like the wrong structure, the wrong distribution for the event type. And maybe the people at the store just weren't that familiar with what they were dealing with the game. I don't know, but it was, everyone had fun, obviously, except for the one guy. But it was like, okay, that was weird, but hey, we all got cards and stuff.
How many people were at that? Joe?
There was 14 players, I think.
Not too bad.
So hopefully they take that feedback into account, and it's. But I think, I don't know. I always just get, prizing is always a weird issue for me with events, particularly the more casual ones. It's like, just spread it out more. I don't like it when events are so top heavy.
I'm a big fan of more even distribution. Like, I hate when I go to events where it's like
first place gets a ton.
First, like they do a top cut, and it's like only people in that top 4 or whatever get packs and nobody else does. I'm like, I wish I would have, or they throw you the 1, maybe. As long as you get at least the 1 pack, it's fine. But
I like the 1 per win for the pre-releases seems.
That's a fun and simple way to do it. I like that.
And honestly, that's just how, like, that store, at least, that's just how they kind of do all their weekly events too. Whether it's the draft or the premiere stuff that they do. It's just, usually it's like 3 rounds, and then on those ones you don't get, or do you? I think you still get a participation pack at least, or maybe it's just the OP pack. But you definitely get a pack per win also. They always do too. So
did you guys get the initiative tokens? Because we didn't get the initiative tokens for the first time.
I've actually never at any of our pre-releases.
I'm gonna bug them about that at the one I'm gonna go tomorrow to see if I can try and get
those pre-release items or Hobby Next items. I've always just got them at pre-releases.
I think those tokens were supposed to just be pre-release, and then there's the token like soft crates, the token boxes, with Qui-Gon on them. Those, I believe, were the Hobby Next item.
Okay, those were went out to, I think, top 4, maybe top 8. So I did get one of those, which, I'm like, well, I've been getting one every set, so I got to keep getting them, even though I don't really use them for stuff.
Yeah, for our store, I don't think they gave any out as prizes for the events. That was just everyone who got a pre-order got one with their pre-orders. I'm looking forward to the event.
Not that I wanted one, but
I'm looking forward to the event I'm going to go to tomorrow. Um, not for the event itself necessarily. It's just going to kind of be a standard pre-release. But then on Sunday, they're doing what they're calling Twilight of the Republic post-release event,
Okay.
where they've still got a whole bunch of leftover pre-release kits from Twilight. So they are going to basically do a sealed event with their pre-release kits for Twilight on Sunday. But if you play in the Legends pre-release, you get free entry into the Twilight event,
Oh,
which is I think really cool. So you get,
that's super
I mean,
cool.
yeah, you're gonna get a whole
6 free
pre-release kit for
boosters.
free.
Yeah, that
Um,
seems super good.
yeah. So, but yeah, I think overall it was. I think pre-releases around here went good. I had a lot of fun. It was really interesting to finally get to sit down, play some more with the Force mechanic. Um, I think I've come to realize that um, having initiative and also being able to have like a turn one force unit drop can be very, very important.
Yeah, Jedi Padawan is so good.
Yeah, that unit is really, really nice.
Or if you're going second, the Hermit with ambush.
Yeah. Because yeah, it can really fuck up your tempo if you go
yeah.
second and your opponent then is able to take your unit out, so you don't get your force token that second turn.
Yeah, I think the games that went the best for me was exactly that. When I went first and I just kept killing their force units, it was like I was in complete control.
Yeah,
And then when the reverse happened, I was just like completely screwed. Like I would have no momentum. So you need that
initially I
force.
built my deck, and I excluded the 2 gifted urchins that I had. And then after match 1, I was like, I'm never getting the force. I better put these kids in here. And it really made a huge difference just having that little unit out that can keep turning the force on.
Yeah, I think I played like one game where I I kept an opening hand where I had turn one drops, but they were creatures instead of force units, and that game didn't go real great for me. And that's when I learned. I was like, ooh, especially when I'm relying on Maul's ability to put out a good chunk of damage.
Yeah.
I need the force token for that. Um, so yeah, I was like, oh, if I don't have a force one drop, I gotta, or one or two drop, I need to mulligan to try and get one.
Yeah, that'll be a lot easier in constructed, I think. Um, it's like it felt pretty easy in sealed to be like stuck with these like creatures and other turn one plays, like porgs and stuff. That's like, man, this is the only turn one play I have at the moment, unfortunately. And yeah, you feel like you're really on the back foot for a lot of the leaders. Not all of them. There's some that definitely don't need the force either, but
Yeah,
it feels like the main ones really do. Like there's like a lot of Obi-Wan
You
and
know
Talzin
what
getting played.
I loved about this pre-release is, so Talzin was sort of tricky because like of all the debuff. I was watching Bethany and another guy. They had basically a mirror match, and I like came back and I saw there was like 2 health on each of their bases. I walked away and looked around the store, and I came back a long time later and there was like 1 more health. I'm like, oh, you guys in the next match? They're like, no, this is the same one, because they just kept like mirroring everything each other was doing, and it was really kind of funny. But um I love that. Oh, I only have to worry about Crushing Blow and Shatterpoint. Those are the only blue removal cards I need to worry about. And like Shatterpoint, I only have to worry about if they've got a force token on them. And that made like, I don't know, weird like horror of playing against like a blue player like more palatable.
But on the other hand, now you have to worry
I
about
mean,
Kit
there's
Fisto
also
doing 2 damage like all the time. And Kit Fisto was one that I played against in each pre-release, and he was like a lot better than I expected compared to back when he was announced. Because it's like there are honestly a lot of Jedi units in this set. I mean, both my opponents maybe had lucky pulls, but at the same time, there's like Padawan starfighters and Jedi starfighters, all this stuff. So it's like it's pretty easy for him to like throw out 2 damage, and 2 damage for one really isn't that bad when you can do it like every round, and it doesn't cost the force for him too. So it's like that is really tough to deal with, honestly.
I liked the one I got in my deck. I liked for it. I had the Purgle. That's the Sentinel Purgle.
Oh yeah, graceful Purgle.
Yeah, maybe I don't remember. But
That's the
anyways,
ones I chewed up with my Minoc.
yeah, he was just nice to um, be able to drop in space and then kind of sit there as a little tank in case my opponent had any space units, and then I could just continue concentrating on force units down on the ground to throw at them.
Yeah, I felt like that was the other kind of interesting thing momentum wise is if you're doing force, you are really like going so heavy on ground, and then whenever you do have to throw something out in space, or like if I like when I'm playing Maul and a strike ship is my turn one play, it's like I kind of like that ship, but now I'm not getting the force this turn. So it's a very interesting flip compared to Jump to Light Speed, where it was like heavy space. Now it's like, oh, I kind of don't want to do space almost at all. And then you can do it a little and do some arena dodging, but yeah, it's kind of very different from where we just were.
Yeah, yeah. I think, like I said, I think pulling Anakin was really, really, really great for my deck because it was like, especially, I got lucky enough to like just go right into because Anakin's on 6, so I can deploy Anakin, probably kill something with his -3/-3. If not, it's almost definitely then in range of Maul's pings. Because that same turn, I can also ping twice. Because I could ping once with his leader side, then deploy him, and then attack and ping another time.
Yeah.
Um, and then the next turn, I just happened to draw a lot of times where then I had the sun in my hand. So the next turn I then play the sun.
Like
And so I've got
Doc Ock,
Maul. Huh?
you had the power of the sun in the palm of your hand.
Yes. Um, so yeah, I've got Anakin and Maul on the board with the sun pumping them up. Um, it was usually it was game over by that point.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like for me, for my decks that I put together in the 2 pre-releases, I don't think I had any cool combos like that. Honestly, I'm struggling to think of any awesome moments. Like both my decks did kind of like just okay, a little good in some matchups and a little bad in others. It's kind of like, this didn't quite come together. My decks, by the way, I did a third sister blue. I think she was kind of fun to try. I think like the consistent hidden could be interesting, especially since she doesn't need the force to do it. But it wasn't like amazing for me. Again, I didn't really have anything that super comboed with her. And then the other one I did, I ended up doing Obi-Wan Red, and that kind of didn't quite come together either. I feel like the closest thing to a cool combo I had was I had Sindralig, who I know everyone hates him and thinks he sucks, but I had him and I had like an off aspect lightsaber in there. Like every game I pulled him and a lightsaber and I was saving it up, and then either we wouldn't get to 8 resources, so it'd be a waste, or I would resource him and then we would get to 8 resources and I'd be like, dang it, I had this lightsaber and I don't have the guy to use it. But the very final game of that pre-release, I did finally get him out and throw a blue lightsaber cross aspect onto him for free, and so he's ready to attack. But I lost the game, and in retrospect, after we got to the end, I was like, wait a minute, if I had done the math right and just had him go to base both turns, I think I would have won, you know, assuming my opponent didn't like take initiative or have some other thing, you know, but I didn't end up doing that with him. So I didn't get the dream scenario of having Sindralid come out and like do 14 damage back to back. But I almost did. It was kind of fun to almost get there.
Kind of, that's how I feel. I was trying out a General Grievous unit deck. I'm like, well, now that there's all these lightsabers, I'm going to try and make it happen. And I was playing against John online, and every time I had, Kurt will appreciate this, every time I had Grievous out and a couple lightsabers in my hand and there was like a way to kill Grievous on the table, I felt like I think you should leave, where he goes, wait, I'm doing something. Because it's impossible. It is impossible to get 4 lightsabers on Grievous. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, 4 is too many. If it had been like 2, maybe it'd be doable, but it's still like you want to try because there's so many lightsabers now, and there's like, especially if there's like all the different colors, you want to like have all the different random colors in your deck. I have a yellow black lightsaber and a blue white and etc. etc. And some of them, I mean, like, you know, the Inquisitor lightsaber actually can work on him.
That one's really good in draft. The Purge Trooper was another super important draft card, I think. Because, everybody's got Force units, so Purge Trooper, combined with Maul's, like, ping, you're kind of shredding through a lot of people pretty quickly.
I wanted to, for mine, the one deck I wanted to make was like a red-green, like, Jedi deck. Because I had pulled I had an Obi-Wan, I had Maul, I mean not Maul, Mace, I had Yoda, I had Oppo Rancisis, and I wanted to make some kind of red-green Jedi deck, but the problem was I had cool top end for like green and red heroism, but between those two colors I had like 3 turn 1 plays.
The tragedy that befell me was I pulled 2 copies of Always 2. So I'm like, okay, I pulled 2 legendaries of the same legendary. This is probably what I should try and focus my deck around. And Sith Legionnaire was the only card of all 6 packs that had the Sith tag on it, other than like Darth Maul. I was like, okay, guess we're not using this one.
Yeah, it's so tough. Like, you just really can't predict what you get, obviously. And that's kind of the fun of the sealed too. But I know for my second pre-release, the morning of, I was thinking like, ooh, I hope I get Kit Fisto, because that was cool when I faced that one. I want to build one. Kind of like you said, like there's cool Jedi I want to get. Or I was like, ooh, maybe I'll get Cal Kestis. That'd be fun to do like a yellow-red kind of aggro. But then I got neither one. So it's like, okay, what leaders are going to work with these cards I got? And it kind of didn't work out. But that's kind of an interesting challenge too.
Yeah.
Overall, it was just fun to try things, because before getting my hands on them, there's like so much feel to the set that at least like that I feel like I'm missing out on. Like, here's how many of this power level of units there are, and here's what the turn 1 plays are like and stuff. And it's like, now I'm finally getting a little feel for it a little bit, you know.
Should come out tomorrow night for one more pre-release.
One more pre.
Yeah, I unfortunately only got to go to until tomorrow. I will have only got to go to the one, even though we had so many in town, just because I was with it being the 4th of July weekend. I was out of town for basically all of the events, and I managed to sneak one in before we headed out of town for the weekend. So
Yeah. What about your guys' like pulls so far? Like, how did actually like getting a bunch of boxes and stuff go?
Yeah, so you can actually watch. Beth and I streamed our unboxing the other day. I know Leo streamed his Carbonite unboxing. Um,
yeah, so check that
the
out on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I made a game of it that we got points based on how many legendaries and like rares and legendaries in the foil and hyperspace slots we pulled.
Mm.
I won. We got There was definitely a lot more legendaries per box than in previous sets. I only got 3 boxes plus like a handful of pre-releases and a couple extras, and I ended up with one of every legendary except Darth Vader, which is really annoying as he appears to be the
The
Probably
money
super
one.
expensive one. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I ended up only missing 4 cards because usually my goal is, well, let's get one of each card per set, and I'm fine with having one of some legendary that I won't play anyways. But
I felt
I
like I got more legendaries too, and it's not like it's a statistically significant amount of boxes that I did or anything, but I feel like usually I've gotten below average, and this time I felt like I got above average, which was nice. It's like, oh, I'm actually getting some pulls and not being super disappointed with what I got, you know?
Yeah, well, you do got to remember that this set and Jump to Lightspeed, the number or the sorry, I guess not the number, but the frequency of legendary hits was increased.
Mm-hmm.
so what did it used to be, and what is it now?
Um, I forget the exact numbers, but I mean, you averaged, like you used to average like it was like like 3 or 4 a box, and then now it's more like 5 to 7 a box, 5 or 6 a box.
See, because I got 8 in each of my boxes,
Yeah,
which felt really good.
and I should say that's just supposed to be like in the standard slot, not counting like the hit rates for in like the foil slot or anything like
Sure.
that. So, um, yeah, I forget the uh, exact numbers, but yeah, because it used to be something like I think it was like 1 in 8 packs is what it was for the first 3 sets, and then they adjusted the rates a little bit. Um, and then now it's like 1 in like 7 packs or 6.5 packs. I forget what the exact number they said when they announced that is, but it is more.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first set where I actually had. I mean, it's the first time I've ever had over 3 of a legendary, which felt really good. It's like now I can trade. Like normally these other
Yeah.
sets, I never have anything to trade. People are
I
like, dude, it's like I don't have anything. I wish I could trade for this cool legendary, but so
I
that felt
I
good.
thanks to the stuff Fantasy Flight sent us, I ended up with 3 Oppo Rancises before we even went to our pre-release.
Francisses.
Yeah. And now I'm up to altogether 6 of them, something like that. It's
I
great.
haven't. I'm still waiting for my new binder to come in the mail because I forgot to buy a binder. So once that comes, then I'll actually binder all my cards and know exactly which ones I have more than 3 of.
Yeah.
And because
Um,
Bethany sorted all the cards today, so I didn't even like look at those.
One thing now, since we're talking about pulls and openings, one thing we should mention is there has been issues people have been seeing with their carbonite boxes where they're getting now from what I think I've read, it didn't sound like this is happening to like every pack in a box, but it's often more than one pack in a box, where people don't get a prestige card at all in their packs.
That sounds pretty terrible because that's sort of
Yeah.
the whole reason you buy those packs.
And like I apparently stole one from somebody because one of my packs I opened on stream, I had 2 prestiges in
Yep.
one of my packs.
We all saw
Um,
it.
I'm a
I
thief.
wonder.
So
I wonder if there is like an equal number of those out there, but we're not hearing about those double ones.
Those cards had to go somewhere,
Right.
because they only printed so many. So
Yeah, I wonder if this set's gonna. I don't. Obviously, they're gonna have to reconcile that somehow. But like,
yeah,
I
they've
can't
said,
like. Are they gonna?
Fantasy Flight has said there's supposed to be a statement coming out soon about what's going to happen here. I know at
It'll
one
probably
point,
be out by the time people listen to this.
yeah. I know at one point they did say bring your packs back to the store and exchange them for replacement Carbonite packs, and then your store can deal with Fantasy Flight and Asmodee to get their money back too. But like less than a day after they said that, they were like, oh wait, no, don't do that. Actually, we'll have a more detailed statement soon. And that was, as of the time of recording, that was yesterday, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna like, how do they? There's gonna be a lot of people who are like, well, I did because I ripped a whole box and like every pack in the box screwed me. But how do you get someone to prove that? Obviously you don't want just, somebody's going to go, hey, I opened 20 and they all screwed me, cards please. And it's like, well, I don't know, it's really bad.
Yeah, I wonder how prevalent it actually is. Like everyone's talking about it, like, but it's really hard to say how many out there are affected.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing,
I shouldn't get any.
is like, when you see the threads about it, like on Reddit, there's because there's been a few different ones, and then there's people jumping on like, oh, this happened to me, this happened to my buddy too, blah blah blah. But you don't have all the people that it didn't happen to, saying,
Like
oh, this did
thousands and
not.
thousands. Yeah.
Um,
Obviously, you don't want it to happen at all, but still, I don't know if it's the type of thing that I would tell anyone like, no, you shouldn't buy these at this point because it's too risky or something. Like I don't think it's that common.
I mean, like I said, I lucked out. All 3 of my boxes were fine, and I even got a bonus in one of my packs. So, but at the same time, had that happened to me where I didn't, I would have been very glad I was streaming at the time, so I would have had Vizio evidence to show somebody that would be like, hey,
for real.
So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, given the price point for this item, it seems like the sort of thing people shouldn't have to go through, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a little different than having some normal packs where the color's a little off or whatever, right?
I mean, there's always going to be little print errors that get past quality control and things like that. But and like, I guess we did see some of this back in Twilight, where there was people getting like opening booster boxes where every pack was missing the rares. And
wow.
yeah, like the rare slot was always filled with like a common or whatever, and then the only way you would get a rare in that whole box is if it was in the foil spot. And so I mean, so this is kind of a similar thing, but at the same time, the price difference is a lot, so it hurts a lot more when this happens on a prestige box.
The worth noting, there are only a handful of prestige cards that I want because I try to only chase the fancies of like specters and related cards. So I'm like, well, I only want like an Ezra and a Doom, um, maybe a Marin because Bethany really likes Marin, um, and so I just got two just for fun. So I'm like, I'm not going to get a whole box of these this time. Uh, and Doom was in one of the two packs I got.
Hey,
So
all
Nice.
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Foil Luke was in the one I won from the pre-release, which
That's a good one.
Sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, I did hit a Barris showcase.
That I don't know how good people think Barris is. I forget even what she lets you play at events cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
which honestly
sounds
I don't think
good.
isn't too bad of an ability.
The showcase art is real good, I think.
Yeah.
I really
It's
like that
real
one.
nice. It's really nice, but I am looking at trading it to someone. They pulled two Ray showcases, so
Wow.
but
Ah.
like once the dust kind of settles on prices, Barris is probably going to be worth more than Ray. So I'm hoping like maybe I can talk him into doing some kind of like a 2-for-1, like a Ray and a Grand Inquisitor that he has for Barris or something like that. We'll see.
I feel like that's one of the tricky things about trading this early is people are going off those early prices and I'm like, I don't know. I think these are all going to settle down very different from what they are. It I haven't had that much to trade, so it hasn't been a big deal, but it's like I don't know. I kind of hate to go off of that. I got a showcase as well, and it felt really good because it's only my second showcase ever. Well, I will say I was I was disappointed when I opened it because I did not like the showcase I got, which was Obi-Wan. The art was not for me, but I was able to trade and get one that I do actually like, which is Darth Maul, and I'll hold it up on screen so that I can just brag just a slight bit for the people
That one looks really
watching on
nice.
YouTube. I
And
like it a lot,
Maul is
and
fun too.
it feels really good to like be super excited, like, oh, I got a special leader and it's one that I wanted. Now I want to build decks around him. So yeah, overall feeling really good about pulls and stuff. There's definitely, there's a lot of legendaries and rares I don't have because I just only got 2 boxes total, but still I got a lot relatively, and it feels good. I'm really excited to actually start building some stuff sometime soon.
Yeah, I just didn't get I didn't hit quite as well as I did last set. I mean, as far as like showcases and stuff like that, I did pretty damn well last set, so I can't complain too much. But because I think at the end of the day, after I was done opening all my pre-order stuff, I had 4 showcases. Yeah, I think I had 4, and then I got a 5th one later, the just from like a prize pack or something. Um, so only one this time. Sadly, still no serialized prestige. I would really like to hit one of those, especially um, like the diptych or triptych ones that have the extra foiling, like the Balin and Shin and stuff,
Oh
or like
yeah,
Yeah, or the Windu.
that would be crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, I've
they
never
look
got one of
so
those
good.
either.
Yeah, I'll probably end up picking up 1 or 2 more carbonate boosters over the coming months or something. We can get some at Worlds and crack them on the balcony while sipping champagne or whatever it is you do in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean it's the land of gambling, right? So you got to get
Yeah.
involved. There should be like Star Wars Unlimited like slot machines where
No,
like
I'm
boosters
I'm
come out instead of
picturing
coins.
a craps table, but like one person at a time is opening, and everyone is going oh, and then like they flip a card, and everyone goes ah.
You're betting like on the color of the aspect and like
Yeah.
rarities
Gonna
and
put it
focus
all
races and
on
stuff.
vigilance.
Yeah.
They should
So
do
yeah,
that. That would
that's
be cool.
it. So you guys are going to one or two more pre-release type things,
Mm-hmm.
probably. I think the last one in my area was tonight. Um, it was just harder because it's like I got to drive like an hour to
Yeah.
get to one. But uh, I'm excited for this set. For anybody curious, if you don't know, we do run a webcam league on our Discord. It has been immensely popular, and we will be doing it again for this set. Leo
It's
is the orchestrator, and I
yeah.
think we are waiting until after Galactics to kick it off this time.
Yeah. Well, actually, we're gonna wait until after Galactics and Gen Con are wrapped up, just because a fair number of both us who would run the league and a lot of our participants are going to be at one or both of those events. So we're just kind of holding off a little bit before we
Because a
kick this
big
one up.
a feature of our league is we award league points for using underutilized leaders. So a lot of our players like to, okay, they want to make a Holdo deck, but they also want to practice for Worlds. So that's why we're waiting, so they can still do both of those things.
Yeah. Well, plus then the people who are at the events don't miss out on getting points for
That too.
like those weeks. So, yeah, that's that.
Yeah, let us know how your pre-releases went. Come talk to us on Discord or leave a comment wherever you're listening to this. Unless you're listening to this somewhere besides YouTube, then I'll never see that comment.
Send us drop us some pics on Discord of your sweet polls.
Yeah. If you got a OP BD1, send that to me. Part of our unboxing stream was I made Bethany set the market prices, so to speak. As we opened them, we had a list of 5 cards that were deemed the most valuable, according to Bethany. And the number one most valuable card was just a regular BD1. I think number 2 was Curious Flock. I forget what number 2 was. No, it was a Hyperfoil Vulptex, which was a very
Yeah.
pretty Hyperfoil. Um, yeah, so the market was constantly adjusting as Bethany discovered new cards and deemed them more worthy than others. So yeah, that was fun.
I will say the only very tiny complaint I have about our pre-releases is I wish we had got OP packs. We didn't, and so I don't know when I'll get to something that has those packs, but I want those OP cards.
Yeah, I have all the OP cards. I did get I don't even remember which ones Bethany and I pulled, but we both got a foil in ours. But I saw somebody pull a Yoda out of their OP, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." But
Yeah.
I really really like the BD1 art on the OP card. It's so I need to maybe I'll have to get to more events. Lately, my journeys to the big city to play games have been for miniatures games, but we'll see. All right, everybody, come join us on Discord. Tell us stuff. There's a lot of fun card game things happening on Discord. And until next time, next time we talk to you, it'll probably be after Worlds. We'll be
I guess
interviewing
so.
Leo on his championship.
It's gonna be coming up real fast. I mean, I guess looking ahead, do you guys have any idea what like Leo? What do you think you're thinking about running? What are you going to be trying to get together for that?
Honestly, like right now, I'm planning on updating my Quinlan deck that I have been running, just because that's what I have the most reps in right now. So that's what I'm gonna feel the most confident. That's what I'm gonna feel the most confident in playing by the time uh, Worlds comes around or Galactics comes around. I'm kind of hampered by the fact that I just find playing on Karabast or Petronaki unbearable.
Yeah.
No fault of the apps or anything like that. I don't like online play for tabletop games. And so I haven't been able to do too much playing and testing ahead of time. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what the meta ends up being by then. It could be anything as far as I know, but it's going to get here pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm not playing in Worlds, but I'll be doing side events. So if those, I'll probably have my Kanan deck. If I haven't looked yet to make sure I actually have all the cards to make my Kanan deck, but that's probably what I'll have on hand. Maybe another one. I should probably have like a Twin Suns deck ready to go too.
And I feel
Kanan
like
Twin Suns deck? That sounds bad, but also could be okay.
I think anything's good in Twin Suns to some extent because it's kind of all completely a mess. I think we need to also get another that themes operational or two now that we have all these new cards. It's new themes we can explore. Um, yeah, I hope we can get one.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot of ideas and not enough time to implement them. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But the more you support us on Patreon, the easier it is for us to find time for those things. That's what we'll end it with. Give us your money.
I will use it to buy this card mill card sorter that's kickstartering soon.
You don't like sorting your own cards?
Fuck no.
Isn't that like half the hobby?
I like organizing my cards in binders. I do not like sorting all of the huge stacks of commons.
Agree.
But like the getting them all together and getting them in my binder and even getting them all like arranged in my deck building box, that stuff I find enjoyable. The process of getting my stack of shit I opened from my packs sorted out so I can do those activities is the part I hate.
Mm.